Joining us live now, Sky News US contributor Michael Ware. I mean, it looks like they're spinning it that way. There's a bit of whataboutism there, Michael. What do you make of it?
Well, this 12-page report commissioned at the National Defence University is a collation of all the Pentagon and the intelligence agencies and the State Department's assessments of how it went down. Now, it's not quite as scathing as perhaps one might have expected, and as you highlighted, the Biden administration fairly and squarely puts most of the blame on the Trump administration because they emboldened the Taliban, they made the deal with the Taliban, they set the date for withdrawal, and when they left office, with 3 months of that date for withdrawal coming, there was absolutely no plan for that withdrawal. So, yes, there is a lot of fault they're trying to lay at the steps of the Trump administration, but there's still plenty of blame to go around. And it's openly conceded that absolutely no one in the security intelligence community foresaw the fall of Kabul that quickly. They were completely caught on the back foot. And even when the Taliban started capturing provincial capitals, there was a gnashing of teeth within the Biden administration. Do we slowly start beginning the evacuation now? And they decided not to. So, look, like I said, there's blame here enough for, I think, everybody.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we've spoken about this in the past, but wasn't this all over? Wasn't this all heading this way once Bagram was abandoned, Michael?
Well, abandoning Bagram was part of it. But remember, there's two airports. There's the Bagram airfield outside the city, about an hour outside the city, and then there's the Kabul International, which is in the city. Now, the American military decided that it was just logistically impossible to keep two air bases so far apart in operation. So they concentrated on the Kabul International Airfield. Now, in terms of the evacuation and the plans and the lessons learned, they do say they've learned lessons, that as they're in the country where the security situation's ever degrading, start evacuating. And they said they recently did that in Ethiopia and most recently did that in Ukraine. So if there is any upshot to this report and this analysis, it's that perhaps America has learned at least some lessons from the disaster of the withdrawal of Afghanistan.
The excuse, though, of putting it on Trump, though, and, you know, blaming him for the cull in troops, I mean, but the cull had to happen after a surge, which was Obama's surge, right?
That's right. But really, the fault that they're trying to lumber on the Trump administration isn't so much the troop drawdown. The troops were drawn down to a point where the military said, look, if we are going to stay, then we need to ramp back up because 2,500 troops that the Trump administration left can't defend itself. Because remember, part of Trump's deal was that if the Americans agree to leave, the Taliban would agree to stop attacking. Where they say the real problem was the complete lack of planning. I mean, President Trump was still in office in January. The withdrawal was in May, and according to this report, there wasn't a skerrick of planning.
Yeah.
No one had done tabletops. No one had done drills, that they were completely left holding the bag and had to come from a standing start. That's the key criticism of the Trump administration.